There are 4 ingredients to being a successful speaker, and I think we all possess them in different measures. First are platform skills and charisma. Second is category expertise. Does this speaker actually know what they're talking about? Third is adjacent abilities. What else do they know besides their core topic, and do leaders seek their counsel about those subjects? And finally is mastery of the speaking business, because as has been so dramatically demonstrated this year, it is far easier to give a speech than it is to sell a speech. I know lots of speakers who are good, outstanding even, at parts of this 4-ingredient recipe, and so do you. But it is rare indeed to find a speaker who has been able to excel in all 4. And the fact that this person has been able to do so while still being like 10 years younger than me, well, frankly, it's incredibly annoying. I suppose it makes sense, however, because after all, he wrote his first best-selling book at 18 years old. He became a professional speaker at 18 years old, and he attended his first NSA chapter meeting at 18 years old. Fast forward 20 or so years and he is the world's foremost expert on his subject. He has been on television more than 200 times as an authority and was profiled on the front page of the New York Times. And he's sought after, badgered even, to help the world's largest brands succeed with modern consumers. And in terms of adjacent abilities, I can honestly say that I have learned more from this individual about business and about life than perhaps from any other speaker on this planet of ours. And his friendship and guidance are among the treasures for which I am most grateful in this world. But perhaps most importantly for our purposes this evening, as we gather together, he is an extraordinary speaker. Relevant, insightful, hilarious. He often performs 2 or 3 hour keynotes that are massively customized for each audience and pulls it off with no notes and essentially no slides. It is no wonder he has received literally thousands of standing ovations. And I cannot wait for you to join me in adding one more standing ovation right now, as I am so very honored to present to you our newest CPAE, Jason Dorsey.
Jason Dorsey is the #1 speaker on generations in the world.
Someone asked me last week, well, Jason, what happens when you grow out of being a millennial and you become Gen X? I was like, ooh, that would be strange. I'm on an absolute mission all over the world to separate myth from truth, to share with you the strengths of every generation, because we all bring so much value. We do quantitative research, qualitative research, behavioral design. Bottom line is, we've done more than 60 studies in the US and around the world. We have 10 studies going right now on 3 continents. So what I'm going to share with you today is the why behind the behaviors everybody else tracks. I got to tell you about my daughter. So we came home the other day and we heard her talking, right? So she's talking in the kitchen. My wife and I walk in, we hear her talking, and this is what we hear. Alexa, what's 12 plus 13? Alexa, how do you spell rainbow? And I looked at my wife and I said, she is using Alexa to do her homework. And I could not be more proud. My wife was a high school principal. Alexa is gone. My generation and Gen Z was taught if your boss is not talking to you, you're doing something wrong. Now you can use it by text, you can do it any way you want. Just do not leave us a voicemail, please. Oh, my dad will leave me a 5-minute voicemail. It's like a podcast. Thank you, Jay, for that introduction. It means so much coming from you, and I'm incredibly grateful for you. I'm also grateful to the entire National Speakers Association. NSA changed my life. When I was 18 years old, I decided I want to be a speaker, write books, and help people. And that's actually a pretty lonely decision to make at 18. It's not a normal career path. You can't go to your career guidance office and get somebody to say, yeah, here's how to write a book and be a speaker. It wasn't like that. In fact, when I called my parents and told them that I wanted to write a book and speak and bring this message to the world, That was not the plan that they were expecting to hear. But I'll never forget going into my first NSA convention. I was 19, I still had braces, and just being overwhelmed by the speakers and the energy and the insights and the wisdom. I remember sitting in that ballroom and just looking around and for the first time feeling like I had found a group of people that understood me, understood what I was trying to do. And I felt that way about NSA ever since. I want to take a second to thank a few people. First, I'd like to thank my speaker mastermind who I met at NSA, and that is Jay Baer, Roy Vaden, and Dave Horsager. Thanks to each of you for the huge impact you've had on my life. I also would like to thank two people who work in our business that are sort of the unsung heroes, if you will, of our business. One is Emily Boyd, who has been with us now for more than 10 years. The first time I met Emily, she said, "You're too cheap, your fee is too low, you need to raise your fee." And she has been saying that every year since then. So thank you, Emily, for the incredible insight that you bring to our organization. I also like to thank Alexandra. Thank you, Alex. You've been such a huge help in helping us to build the processes, the operations, and mindset that we need to grow the business as fast as we've grown. So thank you, Alexandra. I'd also like to thank my mom and dad. You know, it's not easy going to your parents when you're 18 years old and saying, "Yeah, I'm going to go write a book and speak and try to bring this positive message to my generation around the world." That was not what they had planned for me. And it was tough, I'll be honest with you. It was tough. I remember I slept on the floor for a year as I worked to try to figure out how to make this into a business. But they never gave up on me, and they absolutely never stopped loving me. And they are my biggest fans. And I just want to thank you, Mom and Dad, for being there from the very beginning, including when I called you and told you I was going to do this. And last but not least, I'd like to thank my wife and daughter, Denise and Raya. You know, Denise is the rock in our family. She is incredible. When she took over the business, not only did she get us in a better direction, she grew our business 500% in 3 years. Denise and I used to joke that we've been married for 10 years, but we've only seen each other about 3.5. With COVID this year, we've definitely made up for that. And every single day I get to spend with Denise, I love her more, and I'm so inspired by you. So Denise, I know you're watching. I love you so much. And last, I'd like to thank our daughter, Raya. You know, it's a bit confusing, as all of you speakers watching know, when your dad is gone speaking around the world. And it's just sort of a hard concept, I think, sometimes to understand. And I'll never forget, Raya came to see me speak a few years ago for the first time. It's this big financial services conference. Everybody had on, you know, suits and ties and dresses, real formal. And I finished speaking. We had this big standing ovation. And I'm watching Raya. You know how as a speaker you can do. I'm watching her. She's in the back of the room sitting with Denise. And as soon as I walk off the stage, she comes running, just running as fast as she can. And she's yelling, "That's my dad! That's my dad!" And I'll never forget that. She jumped into my arms, and it was incredible. And so I know for all of you speakers out there, being on this journey is not an easy one, but it is absolutely not one that I would trade. And so I want to thank every member of NSA for being a part of this journey with me. I am so incredibly grateful for you and this organization. Thank you.